What's going on, guys? Sledgehammer70 here, and today I'm going to do an overview of the stainless works setup based upon a lot of the questions I've been getting from my unboxing video. So a lot of you guys seem to have taken interest in what the stainless works system is offering and what it's doing, but I've gotten a lot of questions on, does this system retain the dual mode setup? What is the AFM valves? Like, how does it connect? Does it delete the secondary cats? Like, all that greatness. So I want to answer all those questions in this video just because I've gotten so many of them. I want to make sure it's really clear what this system is exactly doing to my car across the board. And I apologize if you guys could see my sunburn. I got fried yesterday at the car show I went to, Wheels for a Cause. I don't know if you can see my shoulder, but all the difference, white and red, not happy. So let's get into it. And just as a FYI, any video links or anything I ever talk about in my videos, you can click on those in the upper right hand corner. There should be a little like info icon, little circle. Click on that. If I link to any other videos or interesting things that I've talked about in the past, click on that. You'll know what videos to jump to next, or if I reference something, it's there. And also, thanks ahead of time for the likes, comments, and shares. Any details or questions you guys post help contribute to what the next videos I'm making, so make sure to leave those below. But let's get into this guide and get to it. So as you can see, I have the full exhaust laid out on my garage floor, how it would connect within the car. Now, most of you guys have been asking me questions of, is this system NPP capable? And yes, so if your Camaro is the 2016 Camaro SS and you have the dual mode exhaust from GM, this keeps that functionality. So what is actually happening, and you can see their valves that they have set up here, you basically take your actuators off the stock exhaust and you put them right on here. And I'll show you the inside. Hopefully it's not too dark, but you can get some sun. There it is. So you can see the valve in there. And judging by the way that this bad boy is built, it seems like the build quality is far superior to what the GM build quality is. And hopefully stainless works doesn't fall victim to also the rattle issue that we've heard with the GM setup. So, but you'll see that is on both sides, both left and right. And you just carry over those actuators and you keep that functionality so you can still control what your car sounds like in tour mode, sport mode, etc. So I'm gonna do a nice comparison video. I've did a video in the past already with the NPP setup in both tour, snow and ice, track, and sport. I'll do the same thing with this setup once it's in the car. So next up is the section that gets a little tricky. So if you look at the stock exhaust, and here's a picture of it, you'll see there's pinched points where they basically pinch down the actual tubing, which is 2 7/8. And most people believe GM did this to eliminate drone. Now, no one knows for sure because GM hasn't come out and said why, but it's awkward that they did that. So these pipes are 3-inch all the way through, front to back. Well, except for the exception of the XPipe, and I'll get into that in a minute. But also in this section, so if you're driving a Camaro SS with the A8 Auto, you also get what's called the active fuel management valves. There would be one on either side. So you'll see mine is set up to have those valves, but you'll notice one thing that's different is there's not an actual valve in there. Why, Sledge? Why are you doing it that way? And this is what I call the AFM Delete for all of you who have been asking. And I'm gonna sit down because I don't wanna arch over this while I talk about it. So, in the stock pipe, and here's a picture of it, you can actually see where the valve is for the active fuel management setup. Now you'll also notice in this picture, the exhaust pipe crimps down really narrowly for some odd reason. I don't know the whole reason why this is done this way. GM is the only people that could answer that question. But this system retains a full 3-inch pipe all the way front and back and deletes it. And what you're basically doing is you're gonna take the actuator from the active fuel management valves, put it on here, and it's going to function. There's just no valve connected to it. And what that will do is it'll allow the system to still work as it thinks it's working if I don't have my valve delete sensor in, and allow the car to function just like it would so the computer doesn't think anything has changed. Now, the bigger reason why I've done this is I've actually made it to where my active fuel management system doesn't work on my car. And I did this by buying the Coltrag ODB sensor that cancels out the active fuel management setup. So my car never goes into V4 mode. And the reason I did that is as much as there's cool fuel savings and whatnot like that, I can easily just unplug that ODB sensor and have that functionality. But I want my car to stay in V8 mode. When I'm, if I go to the track or do stuff like that, I don't want the car dropping into 4-cylinder mode while I'm cruising on a straightaway. Either or, that was my choice. I did it that way, but this lets me delete those valves to basically remove any restrictions. And on top of that, like, remove that craziness of how GM did the pipes, like all different sizes. And I'm sure there's a great reason why they did it that way. But again, I don't think we'll ever be privy to those details. But next up is the XPipe. And I actually have this thing turned around the wrong way right now. But the XPipe is obviously a lot different than the GM offering. First off, GM's XPipe connection, and I don't know if you can see in there, you can actually see into the lower pipe where the X actually crosses over. GM's XPipe opening is not nearly as large as the one in here. So an XPipe can give you a lot of the improved performance in your exhaust and sound. So a lot of people, before the XPipe came around, you would have an H-pipe setup. And that was the preferred setup long ago. And the only difference is instead of the two pipes merging together and being welded together, imagine just an H. Like, there would be a pipe in the center that connected to both. These would stay straight and the crossover would happen that way. An H-pipe actually gives you the best tone, like for those guys out there who like a deeper tone in your exhaust, but the X-pipe does give you a little bit better performance advantage overall. Now, Stainless Works, this is a full 3-inch pipe, but as you may have saw when I looked down there before, you'll see they actually have some technology in there. That is a 2.5-inch pipe welded in there that adjusts in, I guess you can kind of say, massages the tone of the exhaust. I don't know for sure what their official naming is here, but from my understanding, this helps prevent drone and provides a slightly different tone to the exhaust that is unique to Stainless Works. Kind of cool, interesting technology. From what I also understand, you can also order this XPipe without that in there. You can just get a straight XPipe and not have to worry about that 2.5-inch piece that's in there. And it runs a pretty good distance, so you can see where it's welded. So it starts its weld here and it ends right there, so it fills in this last portion pretty well. Turn that back around. So there you go. That's actually how that will sit underneath the car. And then we get into the final pipe connects that go into your catalytic converters. Now, a lot of you guys have asked the questions, hey Sledge, did this delete the secondary cats from your car? And yes, it does. So this system does eliminate the secondary cats, and it goes right up into the primary cats coming off your tri-Y headers. Now, you will see that there is a location, I'm trying to point at it, but you'll see where the O2 sensor mounts in here, just about the same position that you see in the stock setup. They do give you an extension cable because it does extend just a little bit further, but outside of that, they give you all the pieces. They do recommend getting silicone gaskets and whatnot like that you can get at Napa. They don't provide them, but you don't necessarily have to use them if you don't want to. It's just a suggestion. This aspect, at least in regards of uninstalling the stock system, and there's the beast over there, is probably going to be the hardest, because that pipe there is a slide fit and these ones are bolts, so that one bolt pretty easily. But on the stock system, you actually have to adjust and move the entire stock exhaust back to get it to slide out, and it's not easy to do. But putting this all back in, it will be pretty easy, because this is a nice modular setup, so you can just do the pieces at a time and get it up in there and be done with it. So, but yeah, so that is the full exhaust setup here. It is a true catback, comes from the catalytic converters all the way back. Now, in regards to sound, how is this bad boy gonna sound? And to be honest, I don't necessarily know. Stainless Works has only posted a video that has this full setup with their long tube headers on it. So, but what I do know is I've heard a car in person that basically has this, the mufflers and axle back. He had an axle back setup. It sounded better than the GM dual mode, or NPP is the RPO code that most people have fallen in line to call it. And it sounded better than that, especially when he got up on the gas. Oh my goodness, that thing just sounded amazing. Now, how much more amazing is it going to sound with the valve delete, the new XPipe, and the secondary cat deletes? Good question. I don't think anybody knows. I don't even think Stainless Works knows. I don't know if they've heard what the car sounds like with this setup. Maybe they do, but I would assume if they did, they would have a video on it that we could see and hear. So this would be your basically your true axle back setup right there. Just the mufflers sticking out the back. It's not a very expensive going this setup here. If you don't have NPP, you can get it without it, and then you can get single tip or dual tip. But outside of that, the system is pretty robust and pretty awesome. As you saw in my last video, these tips on both exhaust pipes got a little bit damaged in shipping. Not entirely sure how that happened, but you can actually see the box, and at closer inspection it looks like it may have been UPS's fault, just in junking it around. But then again, the packaging wasn't perfect. I've seen packaging before that was better than what is seen here with full exhaust systems being shipped, but hopefully this could be a learning. Shipping from Ohio to California can be troublesome with FedEx and UPS. But outside of that, the system's ready to go, and I'm going to go through kind of my plans real quick. So tomorrow I am hopefully planning to go down and get the car dynoed. So stock, I'm going to do it with the cold air inductions intake, dyno it with the Mishimoto intake. Where hopefully the weather will stay how it is. It's going to be a little bit warmer than I like to do dyno testing at, but I believe it's going to be about 85. I'm going to try to get there early, see if we can get on the dyno early to get the runs. But basically do a stock run, let the car sit and cool off for a couple hours, do a run with the Mishimoto intake, which I have on the car right now, and then do a run with the cold air inductions intake. And whichever intake I find out that is proving the best results, I'm going to put that one on, or leave that one on, and go ahead and install the exhaust, and then on the same day do a dyno run. Hopefully, if we can get it all done, that's the plan. But install the exhaust, get that installed, and do a dyno run with the exhaust and see what kind of increase we get from there. Now, it's not going to be completely true because there will be the cold air intake on the vehicle, so I apologize for that. But it's how I'm going to test it, and that's what I'm going to have. So I will have a base run of what it is at stock. I'll have a base run of what it is with the Mishimoto and the cold air inductions intake. But having that increased airflow could change, or could, I might just benefit even more having the better exhaust out the back end versus what it might be with stock setup. So forgive me if I can't do a stock exhaust test with the exhaust, but hopefully it will give rough numbers pretty close, and we'll go from there. So, and I do plan to get into the details. I want to find out exactly what's happening on the dyno run, what's changing, how's the airflow adjusting, is there any CELs that are going to throw? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll go through that. So, but there you go. That's an overview here. Hopefully that answered some of the questions you may have had. If I skipped a question or didn't answer a question, post below. I'm trying my best to remember things. I don't go off a script here, so I'm just going off of what I can remember memory-wise of what you guys are talking about in the comments on the unboxing video. But as always, I appreciate you guys checking out the video, supporting the channel. Leave a subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw today. Quick link in the lower right-hand corner. You'll see the subscribe button. But thanks, guys. But until next time, stay tuned for the dyno testing, the install guides, all that stuff's coming. Oh! And I have one other thing I want to throw at you. So there is a friend I've made on Instagram. He goes by the name Bill. I don't know if that's his real name or not, but he introduced himself to me as Bill, so I'll just go with that. And he has the Cook's catback system installed on his 2016 Camaro SS. So we are actually going to get together and do a sound test of basically what the Stainless Works catback system sounds like and the Cook's system sounds like. So that's going to happen next weekend at, I don't know exactly what day we're meeting, but we're going to meet next weekend. I want to say it's Sunday. We'll do that. And I'm kind of in an awkward position because I ordered a brand new mic and it looks like it's showing up after Monday, which is when I'm going down and doing a lot of dyno testing and a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna do my install guides, I'm gonna do my videos and everything without actual final audio. It's just gonna be your standard GoPro audio. I do have an open shell case on here, so it's a little bit better than the full enclosed GoPros that are out there, but I have a brand new mic incoming that will give me great audio that will be perfect for the actual sound of the exhaust side by side. So my buddy's gonna come down with his stock SS with MP, or the dual mode exhaust NPP. He's gonna have his Cooks, and then I'm gonna have my car with the stainless works, with, you know, all of them having functional valves and all that stuff, and we'll do tests like, what does it sound in Tour, what does it sound in track, what does it sound just normal, etc. So look forward to that video. I'm excited to be able to have it. It's been awesome meeting people from the channel who are willing to come out and help me make better videos and just more informative videos, because you know what, I'm sorry, I don't make enough money to buy all these systems to test them all, so it's great when you guys are willing to come down and share what you've invested your money in so I can share it with the rest of you. So either or. But thanks for watching the video, and until next time, guys, I'll see you on the road. Next up, I trip and fall of the stainless work